Hi, my name is Laura Williams and welcome to my Lopes Talk. We're going to be talking about listening and speaking and how it affects learning. Let's get started. So I'm a pre-K teacher and I teach 4 and 5-year-olds, and I can't tell you how many times it happened, and I'm sure as educators you all will understand that you're standing up and you're teaching a lesson and you feel like, oh, it's really connecting, and you get to the part where you, for instance, letter A says, Miss Laura, I have to blow my nose. Or Miss Laura, I can't find my pencil. Ugh. So you know right there that they were absolutely not listening to anything you said. They were too focused on whatever else they were doing. And so how do we fix this? Because we know if they're not listening, they're not learning. So what does that look like? How do we fix it? So let's start from the beginning. So typical development and listening and speaking skills for children birth through pre-K or preschool. So what that looks like, I mean, obviously at birth, we're not talking at that point. So this is literally all through sound. You know, you can tell when a baby hears your voice. They coo, they acknowledge you, they smile. It's all through sounds. The babbling. As they get older in the preschool years, it's more critical that they refine those skills. They're able to learn to engage in complex conversations, tell stories, and understand more sophisticated instruction. They're the building blocks. They're establishing those building blocks for the next step. In kindergarten through 3rd, talking about the skills that they acquire then, the development of listening and speaking then is really a significant, like in terms of refinement and expansion. In kindergarten, that's where they really learn that, like, oh, I have to sit and I have to listen. And they're expected to do that. And follow multi-step directions. They're expected to participate in group settings. They also begin to have ideas that are more coherent and participate in collaborative conversations. As they move through the kindergarten first, they're also expected to actively listen to what they're being told. Because as they start reading, you're going to move into more comprehension. They're also going to find more spelling and vocabulary words. All of this stuff is critical for the mechanics of language and listening. So we have those things, but we also have delays. We have children who have delays. How does that affect? Children who have speech delays definitely their ability to listen and to speak can definitely be affected because they're not able to speak properly, pronounce the words properly. So in that case, as teachers, it's important to partner with the parents and even your SLP in your school to get those kids the correct tools they need to help start developing that, to get them back on track. So strategies, like how do we foster listening? In my classroom, we like to play games. Simon Says, Red Rover, things that are fun, that they're listening, but they don't even realize they're listening. Red light, green light. I think through role modeling as well, it's an excellent way to get them to foster that idea of what that looks like, the listening and speaking properly, active listening. And direct instruction. If they are not listening, or if they're not speaking properly, let's show them how to do it. Let's do it live as it's happening so they can make that correction and make note of that. So that's important as well. It's also important for collaborative learning. Not every school does it. I know sometimes it can be a little challenging. In my instance, I have an excellent partner teacher in the next classroom over, and we like to collaborate on different things, different lessons. She'll come over to my classroom, or we'll go over to her classroom, and we collaborate on different things. It's just critical to encourage that development of the listening and speaking. Working, and we also do it, and we can collaborate in that way, or we can collaborate in small groups if we're not able to do it with 2 different classes. Small groups, get them together and have them work with each other, partner, pair, and share. Any opportunity that you can get them together to have that conversation where you can, correct what needs to be corrected as it's happening. Not only does it build language and speaking skills, it's built social skills as well, which is also important. So with speaking and listening also comes the possibility of different effects for children with dyslexia. And how does that affect the speaking and listening of each thing? It affects more of the reading and writing skills, but it also can have implications for listening and speaking. Students with dyslexia may find it challenging to process and remember the spoken language, which can impact their ability to follow verbal instructions and engage in lengthy conversations. The stress and anxiety also, like that's a big thing associated with the challenges. They get so stressed out and so anxious about it that they're not able to even listen or learn or speak in what they're learning because they're so worried because they don't understand what's happening. So giving them the tools they need to be able to perform in a classroom and be comfortable doing so is important. I think supporting those students and developing their listening and speaking skills, there's different strategies you can implement. Providing clear, concise instruction, super important. They're able to follow step by step, even making a visual like instructions, that's super helpful. Encouraging in small groups their discussion with other students, that's where you can really break it down and again help them, give them the tools that they need. And more than anything, I think when you're talking about listening and speaking skills and how it affects learning, overall just fostering an environment where you're encouraging participation and speaking and making the students feel comfortable so they can do that because they're never going to learn if they don't feel comfortable speaking and listening in the classroom. So that is our Lopes Talk for today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks so much. Have a great day.